Your best investment, you. Start today. Change forever. When we think of investments, most of us think about money, property, businesses, or even gold. But let me ask you, what is the one investment that can never be stolen, never be devalued, and will always stay with you until your last breath? The answer is simple: you. So many times in life, we wait for others to validate us, to believe in us, to support us before we decide to rise. But the truth is, the greatest validation you will ever need comes from within. When you decide to believe in yourself, when you choose to see your value, even if the world is blind to it, that is the first deposit into your lifelong investment account. Investing in yourself doesn't always mean degrees or certificates. It means nurturing your mind, sharpening your skills, reading books that expand your vision, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift you instead of pulling you down. Knowledge is wealth that no one can snatch from you. Even if you lose everything in life, what you have learned, what you have grown into, will always rebuild you stronger. But what about time? Time is the currency of life. The habits you form, the discipline you cultivate, the little steps you take every single day, they define your destiny. Waking up with purpose, spending hours on building rather than wasting, focusing on progress instead of perfection. That is where transformation begins. Remember, money can be earned again, but time, once gone, never comes back. And of course, let's not forget resilience. Life will not always go as you planned. You will fail, you will stumble, and sometimes you will even break. But each scar is a reminder that you survived. Each fall is an opportunity to rise wiser and stronger. Your resilience is your wealth. It shapes you into someone unstoppable. But before you can pour love, kindness, or hope into the world, you must first pour it into yourself. Forgive yourself for the past, respect yourself in the present, and commit to loving yourself in the future. The relationship you build with yourself becomes the foundation upon which every success, every dream, and every achievement will stand. And finally, the most important truth: do not wait. Tomorrow is not promised. The right moment will never come. It is created. The day you decide to invest in yourself, that very day your transformation begins. If you want your life to change forever, start today. So, my friends, ask yourself, what are you waiting for? The best investment you will ever make is not in a bank, not in stocks, not in business. It is in you. Start today, and your future self will thank you for a life beyond limits. There is something so powerful about self-belief. Yet it is often the very thing we forget to nurture. We live in a world where people constantly measure us by our achievements, our appearance, our titles, or the applause we receive. And in this endless chase for approval, we sometimes lose sight of the most important truth. Before anyone else invests in us, we must believe in our own worth. If you don't see value in yourself, how can you expect others to recognize it? If you don't trust your own steps, how will you ever take them with confidence? I know it's not easy. Believing in yourself feels like standing in front of a mirror that shows not just your strengths, but also your flaws, your failures, and your fears. And in those moments, doubt speaks louder than courage. But let me remind you, your flaws do not define you. Your failures do not limit you, and your fears are not bigger than your faith. Self-belief is not about pretending to be perfect. It is about acknowledging every imperfection and still choosing to rise. It is about saying, yes, I have fallen, but I am not finished. Yes, I am broken, but I am not worthless. Yes, I am afraid, but I will not stop. When you truly invest in your own belief, you stop waiting for someone to clap for you before you act. You stop waiting for a perfect plan before you move. You stop living for someone else's definition of success. Because the day you believe in yourself is the day you give yourself permission to grow, to try, and to live unapologetically. That belief is the foundation upon which every dream is built. Without it, even the biggest opportunities will slip through your fingers. With it, even the smallest step will lead you to transformation. Think of the people who inspire you most. It is not that they never struggled. It is not that life was easy for them. It is that, even when no one else believed in their dreams, they chose to believe anyway. They invested in their own vision, even when the world called it impossible. And maybe your journey will not look like theirs, but the principle is the same. If you dare to believe in yourself, you open doors no one else can shut. Sometimes we think we need others to approve before we can act. But let me ask you, what if the world never claps? Will you still sing your song? What if no one applauds? Will you still chase your dream? Because your worth was never meant to depend on the noise outside. It is written in the silence within. And when that inner voice grows stronger, when it says, I can, I will, I must, then the opinions of others lose their power over you. Believing in yourself is also an act of responsibility. It means choosing to stop blaming circumstances, or people, or fate, and instead taking ownership of your own story. It means deciding that your past mistakes are not chains but lessons, that your pain is not an obstacle, but a teacher, and that your journey is not a race, but a process of becoming. Every time you believe in yourself, you take another step toward unlocking the person you were always meant to be. So, if you are waiting for a sign, let this be it. You are capable. You are worthy. You are enough. And the moment you start seeing that truth in yourself, the world will have no choice but to see it too. Belief is not just a feeling. It is the seed of every transformation. Plant it today. Water it with patience, nurture it with persistence. And one day it will grow into a life that reflects the best investment you could ever make. You. If belief in yourself is the foundation, then knowledge is the bricks and mortar that build the house of your future. There is no greater asset you can ever own than the wisdom you carry within you. Everything else in life can be taken away. Your job, your money, your possessions. But what you have learned will never be stolen. It stays with you, shaping your thoughts, guiding your decisions, and opening doors you never even imagined existed. That is why investing in knowledge is the most powerful step you can take if you want to change your life forever. Knowledge is not limited to degrees hanging on the wall, or certificates stored in a file. True knowledge is a lifelong curiosity, a hunger to understand, a willingness to grow. It is in the books you read, the conversations you have, the mistakes you learn from, and the experiences you allow yourself to go through. Every moment teaches you something, if only you choose to pay attention. Even the hardest trials come with hidden lessons that no classroom can provide. But the real question is, are you willing to be a student of life every single day? Many of us think success is about luck or opportunity, but in truth, it is about preparation. Knowledge prepares you for moments you didn't even know were coming. When opportunity knocks, it is knowledge that allows you to open the door with confidence. Imagine standing before a chance that could change your life, but you are unprepared because you never invested in learning, never sharpened your skills, never expanded your mind. That is how so many dreams slip away. Yet, when you invest in your growth, you don't have to chase opportunities. They begin to chase you. Knowledge also liberates you from fear. The unknown always looks terrifying until you start to understand it. Think of how much power fear loses the moment you begin to learn about what you were once afraid of. The same applies to challenges in life. When you equip yourself with wisdom, you stop seeing problems as walls and start seeing them as puzzles waiting to be solved. And the more puzzles you solve, the more capable and confident you become. That is how resilience and knowledge go hand in hand. One strengthens the other, and together they make you unstoppable. But knowledge is not only about building a career or achieving goals. It is about shaping your character. It teaches you humility, because the more you know, the more you realize how much there is still to learn. It teaches you empathy, because when you understand other perspectives, you stop judging and start connecting. It teaches you discipline, because learning requires patience, effort, and consistency. These qualities don't just make you successful, they make you someone others can trust, respect, and be inspired by. And let's not forget, the world is changing faster than ever before. What you know today may not be enough tomorrow. That is why self-education is not an option, it is a necessity. If you stop learning, you stop growing. If you stop growing, you start fading. To stay relevant, to stay strong, to stay alive in the truest sense, you must remain a student forever. The most successful people are not those who claim to know it all. They are those who are humble enough to say, "Teach me more." So do not underestimate the value of picking up a book, of listening to a mentor, of practicing a skill, or even of learning from your own failure. Every small act of learning compounds, just like drops of water filling a vessel. Losing health, money, one day you will look back and realize that the reservoir of knowledge you built was the very thing that carried you through storms and lifted you to places you never dreamed you could reach. Remember this, your mind is the sharpest tool you own. Keep sharpening it, keep feeding it, keep stretching it. Because when you invest in knowledge, you are not just preparing for opportunities, you are preparing for life. And life, in return, will reward you in ways far greater than you can imagine. Time is the currency of life, and how you spend it becomes the story you will tell one day. You can earn money, you can regain health to some extent, you can even rebuild relationships, but time once gone will never return. That is why the habits you form and the way you choose to use each hour will define not just your days, but your destiny. The smallest choices made every morning, every evening, are the seeds from which your entire future grows. Many people dream of big changes, but it is not the dream alone that shapes life. It is the discipline of daily action that turns possibility into reality. Think of how many times we say, "I will start tomorrow." Tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year. And before we realize, life has passed by. We wait for the perfect moment, the right motivation, or the right circumstances, but perfection never comes. The truth is, transformation begins not with grand gestures, but with simple habits. Waking up with purpose, committing to learning something new every day, choosing to use time wisely instead of wasting it on distractions. These are the decisions that slowly but surely change everything. Consistency in small steps creates momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. Your habits are your invisible companions. They either work for you or against you. Good habits make time your ally, while bad habits make time your enemy. If you spend your hours scrolling endlessly, comparing yourself to others, or delaying the work that matters, you are allowing precious minutes to slip through your fingers. But if you spend them reading, practicing, planning, reflecting, and building, you are turning time into an investment that pays you back every single day. Habits are the architecture of your future. You are building it whether you realize it or not. There will be days when motivation fades, when you don't feel like putting in the effort. That is when habits matter most. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Success does not come from rare bursts of inspiration, but from the quiet repetition of meaningful actions. If you wake up every day and give even a small effort to your goals, over time those efforts compound into extraordinary results. Just as water dripping on stone eventually leaves a mark, your daily habits shape who you become. And let's not forget balance. Time is not only about work, it is about investing in your health, your relationships, your spiritual growth, and your peace of mind. Too many people sacrifice one part of life to chase another, only to find themselves empty, even after achieving their goals. True success is not built by working endlessly without rest or love. It is built by valuing every moment and giving each part of life its share of attention. A balanced use of time is the key to a fulfilled and meaningful journey. Sometimes, life forces us to pause. Circumstances may slow us down, and plans may not go as expected. In those moments, do not see it as wasted time. Even pauses have purpose. Reflection, healing, and patience are also powerful uses of time, because they prepare you to move forward with greater clarity and strength. What matters is not how fast you move, but how intentional you are with every step you take. So, ask yourself, what are you doing with your hours today? Are they bringing you closer to the person you want to become? Or are they drifting away into nothingness? Because time will pass regardless. The only difference is whether it passes with purpose or without it. The choice is always yours. Remember, your life is built in the minutes, not in the years. Make your habits your allies. Make your time your treasure. And one day, when you look back, you will not regret how you spent your days. Instead, you will smile, knowing that you turned every hour into an investment, and that investment changed your forever. Life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. No matter how carefully we plan, there will be moments when things fall apart, when the path becomes uncertain, and when failure seems to knock louder than success. It is in those moments that resilience becomes your greatest wealth. Because resilience is not about avoiding pain. It is about facing it, learning from it, and allowing it to mold you into someone stronger than you were before. If knowledge sharpens your mind and habits shape your destiny, then resilience is the strength that carries you through storms to see the sun rise again. Failure is often seen as the opposite of success, but in truth, it is part of the journey toward it. Every fall carries a lesson that no victory could ever teach. When you stumble, you discover the weak spots in your foundation. When you are rejected, you learn where your persistence truly lies. And when you face loss, you realize that strength is not measured by what you keep, but by how you rise after losing. Resilience transforms failures into stepping stones, and without it, even the most talented or intelligent person will struggle to move forward. Pain has a strange way of becoming a teacher, though at first, it feels like an enemy. The heartbreak that breaks you also shows you the depth of your heart. The disappointment that crushes you also pushes you to find hidden courage. The struggles that exhaust you also reveal the power of your endurance. When you endure hardship and still choose to keep going, you are not just surviving, you are growing. And that growth is a kind of wealth no one can ever take away from you. Resilience also teaches you to see life differently. Instead of asking, "Why me?" you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" That small shift in perspective is powerful. It takes you from being a victim of circumstances to being a student of life. When you understand that every difficulty carries within it the seeds of wisdom, you no longer run from challenges. You embrace them. You realize that every scar is not a sign of weakness, but a reminder of survival. And every survival is proof that you are stronger than you thought. It is easy to stay motivated when everything is going well, but real character is revealed in the darkness. Resilience is what keeps the flame alive when the night feels endless. It whispers to you that tomorrow might be better, that one more step could change everything. That strength is built one breath at a time. Many people give up too soon because they measure success only by speed. But resilience teaches you that it's not about how fast you reach the finish line. It's about refusing to stop walking until you do. And resilience doesn't only benefit you, it inspires others. When people see you rise again after being broken, when they see you smile again after being hurt, when they see you stand again after being knocked down, they find courage to face their own struggles. Your resilience becomes a light that guides not just your path, but the path of those who look up to you. That is the wealth of resilience. It multiplies, it spreads, and it strengthens everyone it touches. So, the next time life knocks you down, remember this: falling is not the end. You are not defined by the moments you break, but by the moments you rise. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. And every hardship is shaping you for the victories ahead. Resilience is the invisible treasure that grows each time you refuse to give up. It is the wealth that builds your character, fuels your journey, and ensures that no matter how many times you are pushed down, you will always find the strength to stand taller than before. Before you can give love, respect, or kindness to the world, you must first learn to give it to yourself. Too often, we pour into everyone else while leaving ourselves empty. We chase approval, sacrifice our peace, and silence our needs, hoping that if others see our worth, we will finally feel it too. But the truth is, the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. If you neglect it, no amount of external validation will ever be enough. If you nurture it, you will find that you carry within you a foundation strong enough to build anything upon. Loving yourself is not about arrogance or selfishness. It is about acceptance. It is about looking at yourself honestly, with all your strengths and all your flaws, and saying, I am still worthy. For many of us, this is the hardest lesson to learn, because we are our own harshest critics. We replay past mistakes. We highlight our weaknesses. And we forget all the battles we have already won. But imagine speaking to yourself with the same compassion you offer a loved one. Imagine forgiving yourself as quickly as you forgive others. That is where true healing begins. Respecting yourself is equally important. It means setting boundaries, not because you want to push people away, but because you value your peace and dignity. It means saying no when something does not align with your values, even if it disappoints others. It means refusing to shrink yourself just to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Respect is not only about how others treat you. It is about how you treat yourself when no one is watching. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, how will you ever trust yourself? But if you honor your word, even in small commitments, you strengthen the bond you have with yourself. Then comes forgiveness. Carrying the weight of regret is like trying to run with heavy chains tied to your legs. You cannot move freely. Many of us hold on to guilt, blaming ourselves for choices we made when we didn't know better. But forgiveness is not about erasing the past. It is about choosing not to let it imprison you. When you forgive yourself, you open the door to growth. You say, yes, I made mistakes, but I am not my mistakes. I am more. And I am moving forward. The beauty of building a healthy relationship with yourself is that it reflects in every part of your life. When you love yourself, you no longer settle for less than you deserve, whether in friendships, in work, or in love. When you respect yourself, you attract people who respect you too. When you forgive yourself, you stop living in the past and start creating a future. And when you carry peace within, you naturally become a source of peace for others. This relationship with yourself also fuels resilience and discipline. If you truly love yourself, you will not sabotage your own growth by procrastinating or neglecting your health. If you truly respect yourself, you will push through challenges not because the world demands it, but because you refuse to give up on the person you are becoming. Everything else, success, recognition, impact, flows from this core connection. Without it, even the greatest achievements will feel empty. With it, even small victories will feel meaningful. So take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you spoke kindly to yourself? When was the last time you celebrated your effort, not just your results? When was the last time you gave yourself permission to rest without guilt? Life will always be demanding, and people will always have expectations. But if you lose yourself in the process, no amount of achievement will fill that void. Remember this, the most important promise you can ever keep is the one you make to yourself: to love, to respect, and to forgive. Because when you build a strong relationship with yourself, you stop looking for completion outside. You realize you were always whole. And from that wholeness, you create a life filled with strength, peace, and purpose. We spend so much of our lives waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect chance, waiting for everything to fall into place before we take that first step. But the truth is, waiting is the most expensive mistake you can make, because every day you delay is a day you never get back. Tomorrow is never promised, and if you keep postponing the investment in yourself, you may find that life has already passed you by. The only real time you have is now, and the decision to begin today can change the rest of your forever. Starting today does not mean making huge leaps or transforming everything overnight. It simply means choosing to begin, no matter how small the step. Too many people get paralyzed by the idea of perfection. They want the perfect plan, the perfect resources, the perfect timing. But perfection is an illusion. Growth comes from action, not from waiting. You don't need to see the entire staircase before you take the first step. You just need the courage to move one step forward. And once you do, momentum builds, clarity follows, and the path begins to reveal itself. Think about the dreams you hold in your heart. How many times have you said, "I'll start when I have more time," or "I'll begin when I feel ready"? The reality is, you will never feel completely ready. Readiness is born in the act of doing, not in the comfort of waiting. The more you delay, the heavier your dreams become, until they start to feel impossible. But the moment you take action, even in the smallest way, you lighten that weight and begin to move closer to the life you imagine. And starting today is not only about chasing ambitions, it is also about changing habits. Every unhealthy habit you continue with today makes it harder to change tomorrow. Every positive choice you make today builds a foundation for a stronger future. Whether it is deciding to learn something new, to take care of your health, to spend time with people who uplift you, or to forgive yourself and let go of the past. Every decision you make today matters. They may seem small now, but over time, they shape who you become. Some people will tell you to be patient and wait for the right season. But understand this: seasons don't change unless you decide to move. Opportunities rarely come knocking on their own. They appear when you are already walking, already building, already committed. Starting today is not about rushing. It is about planting seeds. You may not see the harvest tomorrow, but you cannot reap anything if you never sow. The life you desire in the future is built by the choices you make in the present. Yes, the fear of failure is real. Yes, the risk of making mistakes exists. But remember, doing nothing is also a choice, and it guarantees no change. At least when you begin, you give yourself the chance to learn, to grow, and to improve. Every master was once a beginner, and every success story started with a single decision to begin. What separates those who transform their lives from those who don't is not talent, not luck, but the courage to start when others keep waiting. So ask yourself honestly, how long will you keep waiting for tomorrow? How many dreams will you bury under excuses? How many chances will you let pass by before you realize that time will not slow down for you? The life you want will not come by accident. It will come because you decided to start today. Remember this: one day, you will look back on your life and realize that the biggest turning point was not when you achieved something grand, but when you made the simple, brave decision to begin. Today has been given to you as a gift, and what you do with it will shape everything that comes after. Do not waste it. Invest in yourself now. Start today, and you will change your forever.